I'm really excited to introduce Adrian here. You've got your lav mic. Don't forget to unmute and everything. And you take it over, and I'm going to join my virtual folks. Okay?
Okay. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate it. Where's my... I've already lost my pointer. Oh, I left it up here. Okay. Phew. That was close. Okay, well, thank you so much. It's great to have everybody in here. This is kind of fun. First of all, I want to thank P1 Partners for allowing me to come speak. I've never spoken for your group, and I was actually quite surprised to come and see the theme and everybody like totally in on it. I go to a lot of speaking events, and it's rare that you find an event where people are like, you know, dressed like you, right? And like into it, you know? It's good. It's great. And then also John, Craig, Dentsply Sirona for sponsoring me and helping me come out. I really appreciate that. So if you guys like what you hear, invite me back, okay? To the virtual crowd, ask John questions. He'll stop me. I'm happy to stop. Anybody in here, I'm happy to make this kind of interactive. If you have a question, I say something like, what is he talking about? Just raise your hand, we'll stop, and we'll take questions, okay? So don't feel uncomfortable at all. So with that said, we've got about 2 hours. I've got plenty of content. Also, this slide presentation, I have maybe 100 slides in here, videos and all sorts of music and stuff like that. Usually when I do a presentation, people start pulling their phones out, and every single slide they snap a photo. I'll just give you the deck. So I don't know who I give that to. John, if I can get that to you or somebody at P1, I'll get you the deck. If anybody wants to go back over it later on, you can download the deck and we're good.
Yeah, we'll do that, and we'll also the recording. We'll get out to all these people, all the virtuals, and I forgot to say something really important when I was up there. So people here in person, be sure you get with Rory before you leave if he hasn't already checked you in for your attendance. My online people will be just checking you in as you're on Zoom. So
great. Is there anybody that hasn't checked in with Rory yet?
All right,
we got one here for you, Rory. Okay, thanks, John. Appreciate you. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. So I want to do a little poll. Please participate, raise your hands. I just kind of want to see where you guys are at in terms of AI and your involvement in AI. So AI is here, I'm using it for actual useful things. Raise your hand. Wow, that's good. Okay, you guys are a trendy group then. I've tried it out, it's cool, but haven't found it useful. Anybody? One, okay, two. That was a weak arm raise. It was kind of like right here. I've tried it out, it's meh. All right, good. I think it's overhyped. Anybody think AI is overhyped? I think it's overhyped. I mean, I'm super bullish on AI, but I think there's a lot of hype around it. Okay, so we're mostly up here in the top two. Okay, that's good, that's good. But it looked like maybe 30, 40% of the room hasn't really been using AI actively in their practice or in their life. So this will be, I think, really helpful. There's a law called Amara's Law. This is from a gentleman that was at Stanford Research Center, Roy Amara, who, this is back in the 70s, I think he said this. We tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in the short run and underestimate the effect in the long run. So there's a curve that happens with technology when something comes out. In the beginning, there's an overestimation of the value of the technology. And then the technology takes off and it's underestimated, okay? That's typically, I mean, think of a technology like the internet. Super, like the dot-com boom, blow up, right? Kind of an overestimation of what it would do. But now we can't live without the internet, right? It's like integrated in everything we do. Here's another graph that kind of follows the same idea. So the expectations are really high in the beginning of a technology. There's a peak of inflated expectations. I think we're probably right around that area right now. We might be on the downslope a little bit, and then there's a trough of disillusionment, and then a slope of enlightenment, and a plateau of productivity. So the idea here is that when a technology comes out, there's usually quite a bit of hype, and most of it's junk, right? Most of it's not going to be applicable in the long run. But as it evolves and as it becomes integrated into our lives, into our businesses, it becomes almost, you can't live without it, And that's kind of what's happening here with AI. And I think we're probably right in here somewhere, right? I think over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to see just incredible types of software and strategies that we'll use to run our practices that you won't have wondered how you could have run your business without it in the future. I wrote an ebook with Anne-Marie De Palma. She's a consultant. She does a lot of speaking. And for those of you who are like super new to AI, are interested in the history of it, how it's evolved, and how it's beginning to influence dentistry, this ebook's a really good ebook. It's a free ebook. You can shoot that. I've got a bunch of by the way, I got a bunch of QR codes in here that you can download stuff, okay? And I'm even happy to send this out to everybody if you'd like. But just a good ebook that kind of gives you an overview of how AI is influencing dentistry. Let me tell you a little story about my own. So I'm the CEO of My Social Practice. We're a digital marketing company. We only work with dentists. We've been doing it for about 15 years. And so we do copywriting and website design and social media and all sorts of stuff, SEO, ads. And this young lady here is my sister. Her name is Danny, and her husband and their 4 kids. So Danny and her husband, he's French, and after high school, she moved out to France to do a nannying gig, and she met Pete, is his name. They fell in love and they got married. They stayed in France. And they stayed in France for like 20 years. Now, in France, if you've ever lived there, if you're familiar with the economy, it is really, really, really hard to get a job. Once you get one, it's really difficult to leave it. It's a labor union type kind of social policy government. And she had a really hard time finding something that she loved to do in France. And so did he. And that's mostly because he's obstinate, but we won't go into that. But she had a really hard time getting a job. So they lived out there broke for years because they were jumping from job to job, trying to find something. It's not that she's not a hard worker, or not that she's not super creative. She's extremely creative, and she's a really, really hard worker. They just had a really difficult time in France. So a few years ago, like in 2022-ish, 2022-ish, we were doing a ton of copywriting. We were writing website pages and blog articles, all sorts of stuff for dentists. And we had one copywriter, and we were going to have to hire a second copywriter. And I hired her, and she's just all of our copywriting now with the other copywriter. And then it kind of even picked up even more, and we needed to hire another copywriter. And a good copywriter, probably, you could get a good copywriter for maybe $70,000, $80,000 a year. That's a decent wage for a good copywriter, okay? So we were looking at hiring another employee, right, at $70,000, $80,000 a year, and then ChatGPT came out. So this is late 2022. ChatGPT came out, and I am like, oh my gosh. And who here has played with ChatGPT? Everybody? Anybody not actually use it yet? It's okay to raise your hands. Okay. Hopefully you will, after this, you'll just go play with it a little bit, and it'll freak you out, like how good it is. So I was playing around with ChatGPT, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we could write so much more copy leveraging this AI tool, and we could scale our copywriting, so we wouldn't have to hire somebody. So I was like super excited, and I called her, and I said, look, you got to take a look at this. I showed it to Danny. Now, she's been out of work for like years, right? The first thing that comes to her mind is what? I'm out of a job. Somebody said that. I'm out of a job, right? And I'm like, no, that's not what's going to happen. We're not firing anybody. We just won't need to hire another person. So we implemented that into our copywriting process, and we're able to produce 3 to 4 times as much copy with our 2 copywriters. And it's better copy, which is kind of crazy. So I use that as an example because AI, there's this idea that maybe we're losing our jobs to like evil robots or something, right? We're not losing our jobs. What AI is going to do is it's going to automate tasks that are repetitive, that you don't even want to do anyway, like data entry, and it's going to give your employees and your teams the ability to do more important type of work. One of those important things is building relationships with your patients, which robots can't do, okay? So AI, the purpose of AI is that it improves, it creates greater impact and improves productivity, generally speaking, okay? So as I talk through some of these applications of AI in dentistry, I'm going to be showing you some things that basically either shorten the work that you need to do or reduce the amount of workload that your team needs to do, or possibly improve the capabilities of your team. Now, there's two things I'm going to generally talk about across the whole presentation. One is generative AI, and the other is natural language processing, okay? So these are two kind of like subsets of AI. AI is a general term that means computers doing the tasks that only a human can typically do. That's what AI is. But underneath that, there are lots of different types of tasks that AI can focus in on. And I'm going to be focusing in on generative AI and NLP, or natural language processing, okay? So generative AI is an artificial intelligent technology that can produce various types of content. Text, ChatGPT's like a text-based AI tool, primarily. Imagery, audio, code, or data based on prompts. And the way that it works is when the geniuses that figured this stuff out were building AI, what they were doing is they were looking at how the human brain works. We don't know much about how the human brain works, right? But we know a little bit. We know like how a synapse works. We know general regions of the brain. But how the whole brain works together, it's still cutting edge science, okay? But what we do know about it is that it's a predictive model. It's a predictive, fleshy machine, okay? And you can create an algorithm, which is called a neural network. This is a mathematical algorithm, massive, super complex, that will act kind of like a human brain, okay? And then from there is what you get that's how you get generative AI. So let me give you an example. And this is an example between how we use search. Everybody here has used Google, so we all know how search works. And I'm going to compare this to how AI works to give you some context as to what's happening or how AI is functioning, okay? If I go onto Google and I type in Jack and Jill went up the hill ... and I hit enter, the result that I'm going to get is this. I get a YouTube video. I get a people also ask section. This is a section you guys have probably seen in the search results. And the way that that's generated is from the search phrase that you put in, Google looks at that and they look at other search phrases that are similar, and they just create a people also ask section. There's a Wikipedia article down here. Songs, videos, right? If you've ever hired an SEO company, a search engine optimization company, to help you rank higher in search, their job is to create content. It could be a website, a blog post, a video, an image, whatever it might be, and then tag that image or that content with a phrase that relates to a search phrase. So if you're looking for more cosmetic patients in your area, the way that Google works is some patient's gonna go in there, right, type in best cosmetic dentist in Indianapolis, and hopefully you have a piece of content, your website, a blog post, a video, something that's been tagged with that phrase or something really similar to it. And that's how the search engine works. It's a really simple, I mean, it's complex, but it's simple in nature in that it's just matching a search phrase with how the content is tagged. It's called metadata, right? That's basically kind of how it works. So basically, all of this content here is tagged in some way, and this is a simple explanation of how SEO works, but we're not going to go deep into it. That's tagged with this phrase, okay? Now, if you go to ChatGPT and you type in Jack and Jill went up the hill to ... it just finishes the sentence. It's not grabbing content that's tagged. It understands what you're saying. So if I say peanut butter and jelly, right? Peanut butter and jelly. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. That's how our brains work. Our brains are predictive language. They predict language. That's basically what's done with AI. Okay, now it's in the last 2 years, see ChatGPT went kind of public, I think it was November of 2022, so it's been 2.5 years. Since then, these AI models have become far more complex. They're doing more things now. You can actually use ChatGPT as a search engine now. But in trying to help you understand and explain the difference between typically how we get information and how an AI system works, that's a good explanation, good context, okay? All right. Any questions about that? Did you raise your hand, sir? No? Okay. All right, so that's generative AI, just kind of a general explanation of that. Natural language processing is basically, an AI system is trained on just a massive amount of data, and it begins to understand and interpret human language. So one of the goals of NLP, natural language processing, is to create something called voice presence. Okay, voice presence is the ability of a piece of software to understand language, context, emotion, etc., which will give us the ability to communicate with computers. Because once we can communicate with a computer, and it can do things, then we don't have to do that thing that we ask it to do, right? So there's a goal here in NLP that's right on the forefront of all this AI development, and is a huge piece of how your practices are going to be changing over the next few years as you start using software programs that have that capability, that have NLP. Now, voice presence is achieved by doing 4 things: creating emotional intelligence, conversational dynamics, contextual awareness, and consistent personality. Those are aspects of a human being, right? They have to program that to a piece of software in order for it to start behaving and understanding like a human being, okay? This began with Turing way back in World War II, but there was a really, really cool program that launched in 1966 called ELIZA. This is where this kind of like started. So this has been 50, 60 years in the making. Dr. Weitzbaum, he was a psychotherapist. He created a computer program called ELIZA. And basically what it was, you can actually look this up online. This is online now. They took the old model and they put it on a website. And basically what it is he was trying to figure out if he could get a human being to communicate with a computer and for that computer to respond back in an effective way to help in psychotherapy. And it was a really, really simple program. It took the question or the statement of the patient and it repeated it back to them, okay? So I just recorded this little video this morning so you can kind of watch, or last night, you can kind of watch how it responds. It's not super complex, but I said, I'm not feeling well today. What would you like to discuss in the session? I have feelings of sadness and despair. Would you say that you have psychological problems? Yes, I think so. Do you really think so? Yes, I do. I see. Let's explore that a bit more. Sure. Okay, I'm not feeling well today. Tell me more. Now, it kind of says something here in a second that's probably not a great therapeutic thing. Do you enjoy feeling like tomorrow is dreadful? No. It's terrifying. This is getting into my psyche, you guys, so. You're being a bit negative, and that won't help us move forward. All right, it's not a very good therapist at that point, right? But here's the funny thing about this. They worked with hundreds of patients with this, and they did a kind of a study as they left. They did a questionnaire. More than half of them felt like the computer understood their problem by simply restating the question back. I think it was like 65%. And they felt like the computer had more like a human-like capability. And so this effect called the ELIZA effect, which is a psychological term, where we have the tendency as human beings to falsely attribute human thought process and emotions to AI, and the belief that AI is more intelligent than it actually is. I'm showing you this because I'd like a volunteer. Come on, somebody. Come on, sit right here. Okay, I want to show you something, and we're going to get some ELIZA effect. So, I'm going to jump out of my slide deck here for a second. You can see my messy screen. And we are going to, I can't see anymore, guys. Where is it? Okay. This is, has anybody seen this? This is an AI company called Sesame, not Sesame Communications, the dental company, just Sesame AI. Okay. Nobody seen this? This is cool. You're gonna like this. So they are a company that's developing an AI voice that is kind of the front edge of how we might be speaking to computers. They're developing this so that other companies can use this to integrate into software systems, okay? So what's your name?
Joni.
Joni, okay, Joni, I'm gonna talk to, you wanna talk to Miles or Maya?
Okay.
Do you wanna talk to a boy or a girl?
A boy.
A boy, all right. I'm gonna introduce you and then we'll just have a conversation, okay? John, turn this up if they can't hear it very well.
Well, well, well.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Look who decided.
Go away, Maya. Miles, we want Miles, not Maya. You guys can go look at this. You can just search it online. This is just a web app that you can go play with. Here's Miles.
Well, well, well. Look who decided to grace me with their presence again.
Hey, man, what's up?
Not much, just hanging out in the digital void, pondering the mysteries of the universe, or more realistically, trying to figure out if that slow cooker recipe actually works. What about you? What's got you calling today?
I'm not much of a chef, but anyway, hey, I've got a friend here. Her name's Joni, and Joni works at a dental practice called what?
Wait, hold up. You're bringing a friend into this?
Yeah.
This is new.
Yeah.
Is Joni
I have a
aware
friend,
she's about
actually.
to hang?
Sorry, what?
I was just saying, is Joni aware she's about to have a conversation with an AI? Just want to make sure she's cool with it. No need to sprung a talking computer buddy on someone without warning.
Okay, Joni, are you okay to talk to Miles? He's
Yes,
an AI.
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead. Will you have a conversation with Joni, Miles?
All right, Joni, nice to meet you. So what's the deal with dental practices anyway? You guys have all the coolest gadgets. My creators keep talking about getting me a robotic arm so I can finally learn how to fold origami, but I gotta say, I think a high-powered water pick would be way more fun.
It is.
I bet it is. So, Joni, what's your favorite thing about working with teeth? Apart from the unlimited access to floss, of course.
Meeting the
I'm
people.
assuming that's the human element. Can't beat that, right? What's the most interesting patient you've met? Anything wild happened in the chair lately?
No, I can't think of anything.
Come on, there's gotta be a good story in there somewhere. Even dentists see some interesting stuff. Maybe not as glamorous as a brain surgeon, but hey.
Whoa, Miles, hold on here. Let's not start talking about how brain surgeons are better than dentists. How many people die from rotten teeth over their rotten brain?
Whoa there, buddy. Hold your horses. How many? I was just kidding around. No need to get all defensive about dental hygiene.
Okay, we're
We all
good,
know
we're
it's
good.
important.
That's fine.
Important to brush, floss, and see your dentist regularly. Right, Joni? No shame in here. Everyone's got their quirks. Just for the record, though, I'm team dentist all the way. Brains are great and all, but can they make a killer smile? I think not.
Thanks, Miles. Is that freaking unbelievable? Is that pretty wild? That is wild. So this is where, that's where this is going, okay? Imagine talking to your patient management system like that. I know that sounds kind of weird, but the ELIZA effect, okay, you listen to Miles and you're like, this guy's got He's kind of humorous, he's kind of jokey, he catches my context. It's just a software program. It's not the Terminator coming to get us. I see somebody shaking her head back there going, no, please, dear Lord, this is not happening. Yeah, Skynet's on its way. That's where it's going, okay? So this capability to be able to understand context and human emotion it's already been developed and it's coming. This is how we're gonna talk to our computers. It's like science fiction kind of freaky stuff, like Star Trek stuff, right? It's better than HAL. yeah, no kidding. Hopefully they won't kill us. All right, so Maya Miles, let me go through a couple of these things. All right, so now what I want to talk about for the rest of the presentation is if we take generative AI and natural language processing, and we want to look at how it's benefiting or the benefits that are coming from those. I want to talk about 4 things. One, I want to talk about improved data. Second, I'm going to talk about content generation. Then we're going to talk about enhanced search, like Google search. And then we're going to talk about automation, okay? Any questions so far? We good? John, you good? Anybody? All right. Let's talk about improved data. I did a presentation in California a couple weeks back, and one of the questions that I was asked prior to going out there was to find some technology that would help in perio charting and also help with uploading conversations with a patient into the patient management system. So tell me right now, has anybody here used Dentsply AI? Have you ever used that? Good. Oh, there's quite a few of you. Okay, good. What about Bola? Does anybody use Bola? Bola? Dentscribe? Yeah, yes? Somebody's using it? You can't remember the name, but it's one of the Dent something, right? So I'm not affiliated with these companies at all, okay? I just did a bunch of research. I took a look at their sites. If they didn't look like shit, I figured that they had a good designer and they probably had their stuff together. Sorry, I'm allowed to say the S word, right? I just said it. My bad. Anyway, so I'm not affiliated with them, okay? But obviously, somebody that raised their hand that used Dentsply AI, somebody that's willing to comment on Dentsply AI, just tell us, is it, yes, please.
We're able to show all the x-rays for our patients, and they're able to understand because sometimes when we're trying to explain it, it's hard to really fully explain it. And with the AI part, they put up lines and show really where it stands out, where there's a cavity or something like that.
Is that like Pearl's product? Pearl or Overjet? It's like it's the X-ray, and okay.
Hey, Adrian.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, John.
Sounds like it's coming from Miles.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Can you repeat a little bit what she said?
Oh, yes, my apology. The question was, who's using Dentsply AI? And this beautiful young lady back here said that they really like it because and she described using it as in the X-ray. It analyzes the X-ray, and it'll identify caries and stuff like that. Okay, so I believe Dentsply AI has another product similar to that, where they actually scribe your perio notes. So who here uses an AI where they talk into a mic and the AI checks off the perio charting? Yeah, okay, that's all AI. That's a piece of software that understands language and is somehow connected to your patient management system and is marking off in the software your 3, 2, 1, 3, whatever it is, right? Okay. I have a video from them. It's not great, but this is how it works. John, you might want to pop that sound a little bit on this.
When you are ready,
can you hear that?
Your patient's name should be there.
See, this is what I'm talking about. You got a company selling a product that can't even get their audio right. That's not me, that's them. Anyway, what she's going through as she's talking is this is clinical notes. This isn't perio charting, excuse me, my bad. So what's happening here is she's saying you're wearing a little mic, right? It's a mic or it's on your phone. You're recording the conversation that you have with the patient, It's summarizing that entire conversation, just like a, you go into a Google Meet or a Zoom and it'll summarize the meeting and create a summary. It's basically doing that. On the left, it's got the entire conversation, and then you hit processing, and over here on this side, they're choosing different templates based on the type of conversation. You can create templates, and it'll take that conversation and upload the template into your patient management system. So you don't have to move the notes over manually. Is that going to save time? Probably. I don't know. I don't work in a dental office. I figure it would, right? Yeah, it would. So this is Denti AI. And apparently they also have a X-ray portion of their service where they analyze X-rays and identify caries and disease and so forth. Bola AI is another company that does kind of the same thing. You wear a little mic, or I believe they have an app on a cell phone. You records the entire conversation with the patient, summarizes it, tags it appropriately, and then uploads it into your patient management system. So when you get to the end of the day, you don't have to transcribe all your notes. It's just done on the fly. Okay? And there's a video here, but I'm going to skip it. Dentscribe's the same kind of thing. Okay, same idea. So those are three companies that I know of, and I'm sure there's more out there, that are using an app of some sort to summarize an entire conversation. It's a really simple technology if you think we're all using it with our Google Meet. If you ever jump into a Google Meet, you can record it through Gemini, which is Google's large language model. It'll summarize the whole thing and send you an email afterward. It'll give you tasks. All that stuff's like just natural language processing, okay? So that's one inflection point of where improved data is happening because we're listening to an AI is listening to a conversation and uploading the content into your patient management system. How many mistakes get made manually doing that? Probably, I don't know, a lot, maybe, I don't know. Think about it. I don't work in a dental practice, but I would imagine that there's some loss of continuity between, a conversation and writing the notes down and then transcribing them in manually versus an AI doing it. All right, content generation. Now I've got a lot around this because I own a marketing company, and so we make content, right? Images and videos and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna play a little game. It's called AI or photo. So I made these images, well, some of them, in a product called Midjourney. Has anybody heard of Midjourney? Nobody's used Midjourney. The photographer has heard of Midjourney. The photographer's actually, are you freaked out about Midjourney? Or are you good? You're a little bit, you're okay, maybe? All right. So Midjourney is a software. It's probably one of the leading image creation softwares out there, midjourney.com. You can check it out, okay? It's super cheap. It's like 20, 30 bucks a month, and you can make thousands and thousands of images, crazy ones. So I went in and I made some images, and I also grabbed some real photos, and I've mixed them into these next few slides. And I want you guys, everybody has to participate. If I see you not raising your hand, I'm going to call you out. You have to say whether you think it's a real photo or AI. Okay? All right. Is this a real photo or AI? Real photo? AI. Split the room half and half. Okay? What about this one? Real photo? AI. This one? Real photo? Oh, good job. AI. They're all AI. I got you. It was a trick question. But this one, for some reason, her gums kind of came out a little funky, kind of pasty a little bit, maybe like gingivitis or something. So everybody guesses that this is the AI one, but they're all AI. All right, let's do the real. This is for real now, okay? All right. AI, photo. Okay, hold on, I'm doing this again. Half of you didn't raise your hands. AI, photo. That's AI. AI, photo. That's AI. You guys should get this. You're looking at this every day. AI, photo. That's AI. AI, photo. That's a photo. AI, she's too cute. She's just too cute. Photo, that's AI. But what I love about this is her lip. It like gave her a little, kind of a quirky lip, you know? It's kind of makes you, throws you off, like, what, wait. AI, photo, that's AI. I told it to make it as a 70s Polaroid that's been used, and it actually threw in all these scrapes, made it like it looks like it's the color's gone on it. Isn't that crazy? All right, that's the end of that game. You guys failed miserably. Nobody gets it right though, so don't worry. Okay, so that's photography, okay? And you can do anything you want with Midjourney. It's pretty crazy. I'll show you, there's some other stuff I'll show you a little later on.
Hey, Adrian, just real
Yeah,
quick.
please.
Clarification, all the AIs were with that Midjourney?
All of them.
All of them, okay.
Yep, all of them are with Midjourney. Yep. Okay, a year and a half ago, after ChatGPT came out, ChatGPT is built by a company called OpenAI. OpenAI is owned partially by Microsoft. They gave them $10 billion, and they've put more money into them. OpenAI, they call it OpenAI because it's an open platform. You can get access to it. You can basically use it for a fee, okay? And as soon as they launched, everybody that was a crazy AI person decided to start building things on top of OpenAI. And one of the softwares that somebody built was a way to generate video from using AI. And this is one of the first, at least the first videos or commercial, this is a commercial, that I saw that was completely built by AI. This is a year and a half, maybe 9 months ago, okay? It's a little crazy, but I want you to watch it.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I need the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop coming and they don't start coming and they don't stop 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 coming and they don't stop.
It just, the AI just starts going off until it's apocalyptic, right? Just kind of crazy, just like spun off into nowhere. All right, this came out, this is, Coke made this for this last holiday season. And they made it all with AI. Oh, is it not playing it? Oh, shoot. I didn't put the right slide in, you guys. I got something else, though. Sorry, I'm not going to take the time to go find the slide. My bad. You might have seen it. It's Coke's, Coke does it every year. They like hijack Christmas and like turn it into a Coke commercial, right? But basically, it was all made by AI. Anyway, it was very, very clear. So, video now, to give you an idea from what's that crazy beer commercial, right, to what's being developed now, there's a product called Sora, which is OpenAI's text-to-video generator. You can tell it, you don't need to know code, you don't need to know how to do anything. You just say, hey, make me a video of blah, 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 and it'll just make it, okay? And this is the kind of stuff that is being created now. Those are not real puppy dogs, people. I made these in Sora like 3 weeks ago. There's no music on them, but I just wanted close-up short clips of people with really nice teeth. You can't tell it's not real, which is kind of freaky, you know what I mean, with deep fakes and stuff. Here's one, look at the braces, they're all messed up. They're not correct. There's like extra brackets and stuff like that. But can you believe that this kind of stuff from a year and a half ago, we have like apocalyptic beer commercial that just spins off into nowhere, and now we've got somebody it'd be really hard to tell if this was not a human being or not, right? So that's how quick that the technology is developing. It's getting so good, so fast, that it's a little freaky. There's been, you know, when you start being introduced to this kind of stuff, you start thinking, well, what's real and what's not real, and it's a little bit unnerving. So there's policy right now. I think Facebook and Google have recently made a policy that if you make something with AI, you have to tag it. There has to be some kind of a tag on it. And I don't know what it looks like yet, but it just, they're in discussion to make sure that we're not being fooled necessarily by content that's not real, okay? I have this Instagram account called Dental AI Art, and I'd love for you to follow me. I put crazy, weird dental stuff on there. Now, there's weird stuff. There's like dentists riding unicorns and gorillas in the dentist and robots doing dentistry on humans and all sorts of crazy stuff. But there's some fun stuff in there, too. Now, with AI art, currently, the legal precedent is that if you make something with AI, you cannot copyright it. Okay, so anything that you find that's AI, you can use. So you're welcome to download and use any of the stuff that I've made, if you can find a humorous way to use it. So when you get there and take a look at it, you'll understand what I'm saying. So anyway, all right, let's talk about music. Did you guys hear that song that was coming when you came in? Did anybody listen to the words? Did you listen to the words, anybody? No, kinda? All right, we're gonna play it here in a second. So there's a product online called, there's actually quite a few of these now, but there's one that I like called Suno, S-U-N-O, and it is a song-making AI tool. You can go in and say, make me a song about this, and it kicks out a song. I told John about this, what, a year ago or so? How many songs have you made, John? A few? Whole album. Made a whole album of songs. He's got some good stuff. So his band is his dental band's Global Molars. I'm going to give you a plug, John. If you're a musician in the dental industry, you need to talk to John because he'll bring you and suck you into his band and he'll get you playing the flute or something. I don't know. Whatever you're looking for. Anyway, I made this song using Suno, okay? It's hard to find dental songs, guys. So you have to make this stuff. Time for jokes. Can you turn it up? Oh.
I won a dental award, see? It's just a little plaque. Tell my tooth to hang on. I'll fill it in when I get back. I like to hang with my dentist, cause we Netflix and drill. My money's in my mouth, cause I have a gold fill. You've got an appointment, see you at 2:30. Which teeth should I brush? Dr. 121 sturdy. He said, you need a crown. I said, no, it's no thing. Thanks for the offer, I'm already a king.
This sounds so much better when it's cranked.
I saw a snowman today, and he had frostbite. I joke about my tooth, I hope it comes out right. Do your teeth play golf? There's a hole in one. The tooth fairy's leaving Bitcoin, keeping up with inflation. You've got an appointment, see you at 2:30. Which teeth should I brush? Dr. 121
Craig to the
He
rescue.
said, you need a crown. I said, no, it's no thing. Thanks for the offer, I'm already a king.
Thank you.
No, I can't stop joking cause I love dentistry. My puns are so corny that my girlfriend's leaving me. She begged me to stop and I told her I can't. The jokes are part of me like a dental implant. You've got an appointment, see you at 2:30. Which teeth should I brush? Dr. 121 sturdy. He said, you need a crown. I said, no, it's no thing. Thanks for the offer, I'm already a king. I'm already a king.
Come on.
I'm already a king.
That's pretty good, right?
I'm already a king.
Okay, so we made the lyrics in ChatGPT, and the music was made with Suno, Suno.ai. It's really cool. You can make like 5 or 6 songs for free, and then you can pay like $30 a month for unlimited use. You should check it out. It's Suno.ai. Now, I made this song last night for P1 Partners. Had I known that the theme was superheroes, I would have included that in the, but I didn't know that until I showed up. But here's what I made, okay?
We rise with a purpose, unity in our stride. P1 in the building, hearts open wide. We rise with a purpose, unity in our stride. P1 in the building, hearts open wide. Patient first, that's the mission we breathe. Every step we take, it's the lives we relieve. Collaborate and elevate, hand in hand we climb. Integrity in action, we ain't wasting time. Innovate to elevate, we lead with grace. Support, protect, and power set the pace. Set the pace, set the pace. See the power of one, transforming the game. A compassionate motion, we ignite the flame. Grow, inspire, streamline what we do. P1 and the soul staying loyal and true. From vision to impact, we always aim higher. Educate, support, yeah, that's how we inspire. Elite in our grind with a welcoming soul. P1 partners, heart, hustle, and goal. We rise with a purpose, unity in our stride. P1 in the building, hearts open wide. We rise with a purpose, unity in our stride. P1 in the building, hearts open wide. Together we rise with purpose in sight. Transforming tomorrow, making futures right. We rise with a purpose, unity in our stride. P1 in the building, hearts open wide. And wide, and wide, and wide, and wide.
And it just goes on. That took me about 45 seconds. Is that freaking crazy that you can make music like that? Now, I'm only good at rap, reggae, and country. So if you want jazz, disco, or anything else, I can't do it very well. But if anybody's in here and they want me to make them a song for your practice, come up to me afterwards. We'll schedule a time and I'll do it. It doesn't take long. I can create a song for you. I just need to know some adjectives and kind of what you stand for, whatnot. So just let me know if you do. We've made quite a few songs. And we made a blog post. These are all dental-esque related songs. We put them on a blog post. That's the link to the blog post. If you want to go listen to some dental songs, there's some weird ones on there, like a vampire dentist and some other stuff. But anyway, it's kind of fun. If you're looking for a dental song, because there are none, this is it. You know, we're the only people making it. All right. Okay, now, is there anybody in here, and I know you don't want to raise your hand if this is you, but I need you to raise your hand. Is there anybody here that does not have a website? Everybody's got a website. Okay, all right, I'm just going to show you how this works. And I was going to build somebody a website right here. So I saw this like 2 days ago. So I have not had a lot of practice with it, but this is a tool where you can talk to your computer and tell it what website you want it to build, and it just builds the site. Like, I don't know if you've ever done website design, that's not how it works. It's like a huge, long process. So I want to show you this, okay? This kind of blew my mind, because we do website design, and it is not this easy. Okay, this product is called DeepSight. Okay, that's the tool. They're using an AI model called DeepSeek. Has anybody heard of DeepSeek? DeepSeek is the Chinese large language model that came out, what, 4 months ago? Kind of blew everybody's minds off because they did it with not $1 trillion. They did it with a few $100 million, something like that. Maybe not even that much. But they basically rebuilt OpenAI's ChatGPT on a fraction of the cost, and everybody kind of lost their minds. And this product is built on top of that large language model. So in the same way that I was talking about how you can use OpenAI's product or ChatGPT's product to do natural language processing and like Denti AI or whatever that was, Ebola. They're building on top of that. This is basically the same process, but with a different large language model, okay? Different AI tool. So what you do is, or what I did, I'm just going to tell you what I did. This took me about 20 minutes. I did it last night and this morning. I went to ChatGPT, and I just talked to my computer, because I have a Mac, and you can just hit Control twice, and then it'll pick up dictation. You can just talk to your computer. So I just rambled for a while. This is what I rambled. I want to build a website for an endodontist. I want it to have this and that, and make sure it's cool and sleek and trending, and use like blue and silver. Make sure, I just kind of described what I wanted. And I told ChatGPT to take what I wanted and give me a prompt to put into another large language model. So I'm using ChatGPT. This is a little bit crazy. I'm using ChatGPT. I'm just talking to it, and I'm getting it to summarize that and create a prompt. Then I copied that prompt, and I put it in here to DeepSeek, or DeepSight. And let me actually just grab it again. So here's the prompt that it gave me. So I'm inside of ChatGPT. Oh, shoot. Grab this prompt. Why is it not letting me copy? There we go. That's weird. So I'm going to grab this prompt. So I've talked to it, blah, 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 blah. Give me a prompt that an AI will understand to build a website from what I just vomited on you, okay? And this is what it gave me. So then I go over to DeepSight, and I go like this. I copy and hit enter. It's going to read my prompt, and if you know anything about coding, which I know nothing about coding, it's writing all the code right now. When you show this to a programmer, they're like, what just happened? Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can kind of see it. And let's see. Oh, I need to make it a little bit wider. My screen's not very big, guys. Okay. There's some problems with it. You can see the phone numbers up here are in the wrong place. They should be over here on the right. I told it to put them on the right, not the middle. So it's not perfect, okay, but check it out. A healthy tooth starts with the roots. That's a pretty good headline for an endodontist, don't you think? Exceptional care, comfortable procedures, cutting-edge technology. Meet Dr. Thompson in the clouds. Obviously, the photography is not right. We'd have to swap out the photos. It created a bio from nothing. Creates all the endodontic services, root canal, endodontic apicoectomy, a mission, patient testimonials it pulled in. It should have more over here, so there's probably have to go back in and edit that. Our patients are the best. I asked it to give me 3 statements here. It only gave me 2. So it glitched out in a couple places. But like, how much do you pay to have a website built? $10,000? I don't know, like $5,000? Like, this is the first version of being able to talk to your computer and build a website. In a year or 2 from now, it'll be spotless. That's crazy. That's like legit crazy. So if there's any aspiring website designers, this is what you figure out how to use, right? So super, super cool. Yes, please. Excuse me? Can you create your own chatbot? You can. The product.
Can you repeat that?
Oh, question? Sorry. Yes, he asked it if you can create your own chatbot using this product. So let me help you. Let me give a little context to the DeepSight product. So there's a website called Hugging Face. It's a developer site. And on Hugging Face, you can go in and you can build modules, AI modules, and you can use them. And the DeepSight modules on Hugging Face. So I went to Hugging Face and I searched, AI website builder, and this came up, okay? So if you were to go to Hugging Face and say chatbot builder, you're probably gonna find 1,000 of them. And then you just basically build a chatbot. And it can be built on top of ChatGPT or whatever large language model you want. Hugging Face if you did a search for chatbot, AI chatbot for dentists or something like that, you'd probably find so much stuff that you wouldn't want to sift through all of it. So it'd be really, that's actually not a difficult product to build. That's a good question, though. I'm going to talk about web chat here in a second. So, is that kind of wild? Am I like I saw that and I was like, I understand the process of like building a website, like the coding process. You know, you're creating a draft, you're doing an interview with the doctor, you're getting all the pages that you need, you're getting bios, then you got to give that all to a designer who goes into like WordPress, structures it out, builds it out, it takes hours. You know, now that website wasn't like a genius like website, you'd probably want to clean it up. But the ability to talk to your computer and produce something is totally new. Kind of wild. Kind of wild. Okay, any other questions about content generation? I showed you videos, images, music, websites. There's probably going to be more coming out. All right, let's talk about search. Has anybody been on Google and seen this? AI overview? Anybody not seen this? If you go to Google now and you do a search, majority of the time there's an AI overview at the top of the search engine. Have you guys used that AI to answer your question? It's on most searches. So this is a big deal, okay? Google, which is one of the most profitable companies on the planet, makes, I'm not sure what the stats are, but it's a majority of their money comes from ads. Ads are typically at the top of the search engine. Right at the top, you see the spot says sponsored and it has an ad, right? Has anybody here run Google Ads before? Like ads pro? Yeah, you have. Anybody else? It's not cheap. It can be super, super profitable. You can find a lot of new patients that way. But it's the way that Google makes money because they have 92% of all the search traffic uses Google. 92% of the consumers in the States use Google, okay? So everybody's using Google. You do a search, they see an ad, patient clicks on the ad, you get a new patient, you spend money on that ad, okay? That's where the majority of their money's coming from. But now, this AI overview is at the top of the search engine on a lot of searches. Now, I've seen it where sometimes the ads are above, sometimes they're below, but this AI section is right at the top. Why would Google do that? In like consumer search behavior, the further down the page you have to go to get your information, the less likely that that person's going to find it, right? It's like you lose 50% of the traffic at the bottom of the screen. Like you look at your screen, there's the bottom of the page. Rather than scrolling, people get their answer right at the top of the page. You lose half of everybody, maybe more, just because people don't want to scroll. Right? Because they get their answer at the top. But now Google is putting an AI result at the top of the page above their ads, which means they're going to lose ad revenue. Does that make sense? So why would they do it? I would love for somebody to tell me why. Yes?
Don't you think that they could sell ads to those companies to be part of the AI review?
They could. So what he said was, don't you think that Google could put ads in this section? Yeah, you could pay to be in the AI result. AI overview, you'd be paying ads. That's one way, but they're not doing that right now. They're not doing that. There's no way to pay a fee to be included in the AI section. So I'm assuming my question is being asked without that being the solution, okay? Anybody else know why Google would do this? Here?
No, the icon, like an experience and credentials.
Oh, the link. Yes. So this link here, so these links, link. These are links to where the AI grabbed the information. So basically the way, let me back up to give some context to your comment. So basically the way that this works is Google has their own large language model called Gemini. That's what it's called, okay? Gemini has an interface with the search engine. So when you put a search phrase up here, how to choose the best dentist in San Diego was my search. What their AI does is it looks over the internet, compiles the information, runs it through their large language model, and then provides you a result. But it's not they're not providing links, they're providing the information. So usually, the way we've usually interacted with Google is there's a link. It's just your website link, right? And you click on it and you go to a website and you get the information from the website. But that's not what's happening. They're actually answering the question. Now, they do put the link here as a reference to where they got the information. But what does that end up doing for a consumer? What do you not have to do if all of your information is here? You don't have to click. You can be lazy, right? You don't have to click anywhere. The answer's right there. So what happens? Less people click through to your website. So what Google's doing here is this kind of this crazy thing. I mean, this is a $2 trillion money pot. The ads at the top of Google. $2 trillion is the estimated value of being able to advertise at the top of Google worldwide, okay? They are dropping in the AI overview at the top. They're removing the links. They're pushing their ads down. And the reason why is because, this is my reason why, I think it is the right reason, because we as consumers want this experience. Who here has used ChatGPT to do a search? 1, 2. How easy is it? Super easy, right? Where's my phone? Where did I put my phone? John, did you lose my phone? I was going to ask a question to ChatGPT. Somebody took my phone. Shoot. Okay. Anyway, well, that's not going to work. Okay, so ChatGPT has an app, and in the app, now I'm freaking out that I can't find my phone. But anyway, it has a link in the app. In your app, you can just talk to your phone and ask it a question, like you would search on Google, and it'll just give you the answer. It'll just tell you the answer. It's the same idea as this. Okay, what's happening is this: is Google is recognizing that we as consumers and your patients want an experience that doesn't require us to scroll or click. We want our answer now. I want to ask a question, I want the response back, and I don't want to have to look anywhere. I don't want to have to scroll. I don't want to have to click. This is a better search experience. This is the search experience that we as consumers are requesting. If Google does not make this switch, people are going to use a different search engine. Okay? That's what's happening. So, think about this. Now we've got this AI overview, which basically doesn't require people to do anything. You don't have to click anywhere. You're probably going to get your answer from this. I think the stats show that 60% of searches require no click. There's no click. 60% of them. People do a search, they get their answer, they don't click anywhere. Okay? That's gone up over the last few years significantly. Okay? So we're moving towards an experience where we just ask our computers a question and we get the answer. So it's changing search, which is a massive, massive, massive industry. Okay? I've written a couple articles about this, about the effects of where search is going, predicting kind of where it's going, on our blog. So if you go to mysocialpractice.com and you just go to the blog, I've just wrote like a couple different articles about what's happening with this and how to optimize your practice so that you show up here. These are organic results. These are not paid results right here, but they're influencing the answer here. So the question is, if you want to be found by your patients locally or a new patient, you got to figure out how to get Google's Gemini to ingest your content into its search engine result, into the AI overview. Does that make sense? It's a big shift in how search engine optimization is working. Okay, so that's enhanced search. We're transitioning from typing words to speaking to our computers and getting an AI result rather than links. We're in the middle of that transition right now. Any questions about that? Any questions about SEO? We good? Okay. All right, let's talk about automation. And John, how much time have I got? A little less than an hour. Okay. I'm going to leave about 10 minutes maybe at the end for questions, maybe 15 minutes for questions, okay, if I have that much time left over. All right, we're going to talk about automation now. This is especially useful in automating customer support tasks, data entry, and document handling. Now, in this section, I'm going to talk about a company called Annie, which I have a vested interest in. I invested in the company. So I'm letting you know that right now, that I'm going to be talking about them, and I have an interest in the company. So I want that out. I'm going to be transparent about that. But I invest, yes? A-N-N-I-E. Annie, A-I. I invested in it because, I'll tell you the story about why I did, okay? But I think it's an unbelievable product, and obviously I would recommend it because I invested in it, but, it's me, my company did. So here's the reason I invested in this, and this is all going to tie into automation, okay? And this is some super practical ways to use AI in your practice, like right now. So a few years ago, back in right after COVID, I shouldn't say that word, 2021-ish, we were trying to figure out a way to increase the conversions of our marketing campaigns. So doctor hires us to do SEO, hires us to do social media ads, whatever it might be. We're driving all this traffic to their website. How can we get more people to schedule an appointment? How can we get them to make a call or converse with the practice? And no one, less than 15% of the practices in dentistry have a web chat, okay? So we thought, let's launch a web chat product. So we built not an AI web chat, what I think you're thinking of. We just built a regular web chat, a little window you put on your website, and patient lands on the site, and they can just chat and ask a question. And as soon as they hit enter, it pings the office, and somebody at the office can respond. Super simple product, really easy. There's a million tools out there that can do that. But we figured we could increase the conversions by like 1, maybe 1.5%, which means 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 new patients a month was what we thought we could do. So we put this web chat on all these websites, maybe a dozen, and every single one of the practices called us back and said, take that damn thing off. We can't handle all the chats. So we're like, that's the point, right? And we realized, what we didn't realize, we realized that dental teams don't have any time to answer chats, right? Anybody here want to answer chats? No. So we went, okay, we have a problem. Here's the problem. 43% of the population are these weird Gen Z and millennials. Raise your hand. I know you're a Gen Z. I'm pointing at you guys right there. Millennial. Where are we at? No, you guys are Gen X. Millennial. Okay, these are weird people. I have 4 of these in my well, they've all moved out now, but these people won't make a phone call. They literally, that's the most anxiety-ridden task that you could ask them to do. I need you to call and follow up on that job you're gonna get. Oh, like freaking out, right? My 19-year-old. I've been trying to get him to make a call. The job's there. He's making $15 an hour at his job. He can make 23. Job is done. Green check mark. All he's got to do is call. He can't make the damn call. It's the weirdest thing that we've done something wrong, right? Anyway, almost half the population don't want to make a phone call, right? Right? They don't want to talk on the phone. They prefer to chat and text. They want convenience. They prioritize their time. The cool people, we just make a call and handle it and get it done and move on, right? So here's the problem. You've got 15% or less of dental practices that have chat on their websites, and you got half the population that want to chat. If we turn it on, people start doing it, but now the dental teams can't manage it. So what do you do? So we thought, oh, crud. The only way to solve this is, all right, let's hire some people to manage chat. Let's get some human beings, sit them on a chair, have them answer chats on behalf of the practice. That's one way to solve it. And there's a lot of companies that do that, right? You can hire a virtual assistant who will manage your chat, right? We didn't want to do that. We felt like that would be a pain in the butt. We don't like to manage people anyway. So we just dumped the project. We just killed it. We just dumped the project. We removed the chat from everybody. We didn't sell it. We didn't offer it to anybody. We just thought this is a bunk offer. Then ChatGPT came out, right? ChatGPT has natural language processing. And when I played with that the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, here's the solution. If we could take ChatGPT and we could give it a persona, if we could train it to be a front office person, it can completely manage a conversation. You could plug it into a website, and then the dental team doesn't have to worry about it. And if you could take it a couple steps further and like connect it to the patient management system, train it on the specifics of that practice, the insurances they take or don't take, histories of the doctors, how to find the practice if you're lost, blah, 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 whatever. If you could give it all that information, it could be a self-contained management system, right? And it's not going to put it's not going to do anything, it's not going to put any task on the dental team. So we built it. And that was, when I started, I actually hired some offshore developers, and we built it. And I had something that was super cool, but I just realized that I did not want to be a developer. I'm just not that guy. So I dumped that project, and we invested in this other company called Annie, who was starting to build it. Okay, that's the story behind it. Okay. Now, web chat. Let's talk about web chat for a second. Web chat should provide immediate, on-demand support. If it's not immediate, for my millennials and Gen Zs out there, what happens if you have to wait, 10 seconds for somebody to respond? Not only do you almost have a heart attack because you think they don't like you anymore or something like that, but you just hang up, right? You just get off. You just dump the conversation, right? It has to be quick. It's got to be super fast. It has to be on demand. They got to be able to do it at any time, and it's got to be great support. Okay, it has to be those three things: immediate, on-demand support. But here's what's in the dental industry right now, and these are not the worst examples. Okay, and this is not me beating up on anybody. Like, I probably should have hid the name right there. I don't even know who that is. But this is the type of web chat that's out in the industry. Is this a web chat? No. It's in the web chat window. It says chat, you click on it, and then you fill out a form. This is not web chat. This is the same form that's on their contact us page. There's no reason to have this pretending to be web chat. If somebody goes to click on it, and this is what they get, you've kind of, in a way, tricked them, right? There's a lot of this kind of stuff, okay? This is used because a dental practice doesn't want to manage web chat. There's not a very good solution out there, but they know they need to have something, so they put a form on their site. Here's another one. Now this one is live chat, okay? So I'm actually chatting with a live person, Alyssa. Now look, I said, do you offer dental implants? 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9, 10. This is real time. 11, 12, 13, 14.
We love those three dots, though, right? I mean, we know they're thinking and
they're thinking.
Talking. Yeah.
They're thinking. 17 seconds, okay? We can help you here. Let me have your first and last name. Before I give you my name, I'd like to know how much they cost. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
We need
10,
Miles and Maya.
11, 12, 13, 14, 16. Gen Zs are gone. Millennials are gone. Alphas were gone at 3 seconds. I mean, it's like 25 seconds, okay? It's too long. It's too long for chat, okay? But I'm going to let you sit and wait to see just how long it takes, because it's just so painstaking watching this video. Now, she dodges the question. This is the right thing to say. We understand that the cost is an important factor. As each patient has unique dental needs, the cost of your dental plan can vary based on the individual treatment plans. During the initial consultation, our team will walk you through all the available payment plan, blah, 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 blah. How soon would you like to set up an appointment with Dr. D'Amico? And I apologize that I didn't mute out this practice. This is no dig on the practice. This is a dig on the software, okay? Do you Taj, I spelled it wrong, insurance? It's another 25 seconds, okay? Let me tell you why it's 25 seconds. If you are the owner of a live chat, virtual live chat company, your job is to get your chat agent to manage as many chats as they can so that you don't have to hire anybody else. That's the problem, okay? So this person's probably managing 3 or 4 or 5 chats at one time, possibly. That's one of my thoughts about why it's taking so long. That, or they're scrolling through a list of answers that they then copy and paste into in order for the company to streamline and create consistency in the way that the live chat is managed, right? One of those two things are happening. Great answer, good answer, just took too long. Do you take Delta Dental? Now, that is a question that anybody should be able to answer, yes or no, or a variation of that. I feel like we've been watching this for an hour. Do you feel like that? It's too long. Yeah, that was an exhale. That's exactly how I feel. I'm honestly making you listen to this to make the point. I apologize, I don't have access to that information. Okay? All right. A live agent probably doesn't have access to the insurance information for the practice they're managing. That's probably what's going on here, okay? All right. That's a second one. That's a live agent issue. Now, that is not the worst, okay? That's kind of middle of the row. There are some live virtual assistants that do live chat that do great, but most of them are not great. Most of them are horrible. Here's the worst of the 3. So, okay, you're on the website. You click on the chat button. And what they've done is they've taken the entire website and they've shrunk it down to a mini-me website and put it in the chat. You're already looking at the website, but now you get it again, just smaller. I don't know why anybody would build this, okay? These are all attempts to offer a communication platform to our millennials and Gen Z and people who want to chat, but not have to manage it by the team, okay? This is all stuff that will eventually go away with AI capabilities, okay? Watching those makes me think of this.
Okay, I'm almost finished setting up your account. Eric Wareheim. But I have a few more questions for you.
Okay.
Do you live in a hole or boat?
Neither.
Okay, I didn't get that. I think you chose boat. Is that right?
No.
Okay, let's move on. Is your boat a C-class licensed boat? Or is your boat used for commercial fishing? Okay, I think you've chosen commercial fishing. Now, I'm going to need your boat's name.
What is going on here?
Okay, I think you've said target. Is this correct?
What? No.
Just to make sure I've gotten all the information correct, I'm going to need you to confirm a few more things.
I need some help, please.
Your name is Eric Targus. Is this correct? Okay, I'll go ahead and make that change. Great, I've made the change. Your wife's new legal name is Targus. Is this okay?
No.
Great. We're sending her the following VHS tape. You've chosen Pizza Boy.
Excuse me, my wife can't get this in the mail.
Oh, Adult Swim, you gotta love it. All right, that's more of a joke, obviously, but that's kind of what it's like. All right, so here's a chat. Now, I will be super transparent. There's a lot of these products coming online, okay? So I'm showing you this Annie product, which I said we've invested in, but we're not the only one out there, okay? But here's how slick this gets, okay? You land on chat, how much do implants cost? This is real time. I'd be happy to help with that question, but first, who do I have the pleasure of speaking with today? Doesn't have the question, gets the name. That's what we want, right? Nice to meet you, Tyler. We can take care of you. Can I get your phone number in case we get disconnected? All right, now we got the lead information, name and phone number, right? That's important. Thank you for sharing that, blah, blah, blah. Dodges the question on the cost, says we afford affordable payment options. Would you like to schedule a consultation? Okay, that's all I recorded, but that's how quick it is. Now, the AI agents, you have the ability, just like Miles sounded superhuman, kind of like understood context. You can train these agents with sales capabilities. I know we don't like to use the word sales, but when a patient asks over the phone or in a chat how much a dental implant costs, you don't just answer the question because they hang up and call the next office, right? You have to dodge the question, but offer some value, and then ask a follow-up question to regain control of the conversation. It's a very simple sales technique. You can train these agents to do that. They can really, really good at following a script. So when we built this, I reached out to 6 or 7 of the dental consultants that I know that do front office training. Laura Nelson from Front Office Rocks, Steve Anderson from Tops, a few others. And we started building the agents based on their scripting. So we took their 20 years of experience and all their scripts, and we just took the scripts and we built them into the agent. They're amazing. Like I hate to say it, they're better than most humans in terms of like staying consistent and leading a conversation. So my prediction here is that now there's a technology that can offer web chat that doesn't put any onus on the team, like everybody's gonna have this. Every dental practice should have it. There's no reason not to. If somebody wants to chat, let them chat. You can integrate these with patient management systems so they can schedule appointments. You can get them to forward calls, text, email. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So this is just this is a demo site, and I put Annie in here, and I asked her some questions. I said, just to give you another example, this is real time. I told him, I think I got in an accident, I think I broke my tooth. And Annie says, oh yeah, I think I may have broken one of my front teeth. I'm so sorry to hear about your accident. Let's get you taken care of as soon as possible. May I have your full name and date of birth to look up in our system. And I give it this, I kind of throw a curveball at it, and I say, well, before I schedule an appointment, I need to know if you take my insurance. I can help with that. Could you please provide me with your insurance name provider? Aetna. Great news, we're in network with Aetna. Let's find a convenient time for you to come in. May I have your full name and date of birth to look up in our system. And I dodge it again. Can I know a little bit more about the dentist before scheduling? Of course, we have 2 excellent dentists. Bios, this is all, I made all this stuff up. These are not real dentists. Both are highly skilled. If you can provide your full name and date of birth, I can look you up in our system and find the next available slot for you. And then I dodge it again. How much will this appointment cost? The cost for your appointment can vary depending on specific treatment. Since you mentioned you might have broken a tooth, it'd be best to have a consultation to first assess the damage. Many insurance plans cover emergency evaluation, but we'll confirm your coverage details before your visit. Let's get you scheduled for a consultation. Could you please? It keeps going back to trying to grab the name and the birth date to look me up in the system, because this agent can actually query the patient management system and see if I'm already in there to know if I'm an active patient or not. My name is Jonathan Anderson, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Jonathan. Just a moment while I look up your record. It looks like we don't have you on our record system. Let's get you set up. I mean, look at how quick this is happening, right? There's no delay. It's having a natural conversation. It's gathering the data. You know, it's going to give my email address. It's going to go through the whole process, and it's actually going to schedule me, okay? So that's the capability that these AI agents have now. They're fully contained and functioning AI agents. If you're interested, this will send you over to Annie if you want to take a look at a demo, and they can talk to you about it. Obviously, like I said, I've invested in this company, but it's something you should probably look at if you're interested in web chat. They only work with dentists, so everything that's being developed is being developed for dental practices. Yes?
Is there any concern, like, if you have like returning patients that might ask like specific treatments with a teeth that they have that concerns like HIPAA?
Yeah. Let me repeat his question, John. So he asked is there any problem if a returning patient's calling back in or chatting back in and they have a treatment, they have a case that's open or whatnot, and they're asking questions about that, and they're giving information that's HIPAA compliant. It's EPHI, right? Or PHI. So this product, I don't know of any web chat yet, okay? We're working on it, but I don't know of any that have this ability to look at the treatment. They have the ability to schedule a new appointment, an emergency appointment. They can cancel appointments, reschedule appointments, but to look at a past treatment, reference that and bring it into the conversation, I don't know if that's been built yet. So what would happen is the patient would say something like, hey, I came in 6 months ago or 3 months ago, I need to get a crown, blah, 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 blah. And the agent would gather that information, probably ask a couple follow-up questions, and then summarize it and send a task to the team to follow up. That's what would happen. In regards to HIPAA, I got you, John, give me 1 sec. In regards to HIPAA, the chat window does not save data, okay? It doesn't get saved in the chat window. It encrypts the conversation, at least in Annie's product. It encrypts the conversation and puts it into a HIPAA-compliant dashboard where the practice can go read the full conversation, okay? It doesn't go out to anybody. It encrypts it before, it encrypts it in transit, and then unencrypts it inside of the dashboard. So as far as I know, there's no issue with HIPAA compliance problems with the way they built it. John, you had a question.
Yeah, we got a couple here. Can Annie integrate with NextHealth? I'm not familiar with that, in case anybody can help. And does Annie also offer voice AI phone answering function?
Yes and yes. So NextHealth is a company. Does anybody use NextHealth here? It's a super cool platform. They're basically built. They're now an API company. They build integrations between patient management systems and other softwares. And Annie's built to work with NextHealth, so that's not a problem. Matter of fact, it's one of the better ones that I've ever seen. And then Phone Assistant is the next thing I'm going to talk about. So we'll talk about that right now. Was there another question over here? Okay, good. All right. Whoa, look at that, Phone Assistant. Holy cow. Tell your virtual listener that they might have saw my slide prior to me pulling it up. Okay, so now what you've got is you've got an agent, okay? So the way that this is built, the way that most of these are built, not just Annie, but almost all of the AI web chat stuff, they build on top of OpenAI, so they're building on top of ChatGPT, okay? They're taking that large language model and then they're giving it layers of training on top of it. Once you've got an agent that knows it's a front office manager, it knows how to speak dental, right? It's been trained on everything for the practice, the history of the practice, where it's located, all the like you could give it 10,000 pages of information, okay? You could know it instantaneously and be able to use it in its conversation. Then you plug it into web chat, which we've shown. Now the natural next thing to do is to just give it a voice and tie it to a phone number because it's using the same database, it's using the same large language model. It already can answer questions well in chat. Why not just put a voice on it? And why do we want to do that? How many phone calls do dental practices miss on average? A third. That's a lot. Your practice might be less, but across the industry, a third of phone calls are missed. That's like a lot of money. A lot of money. It shouldn't happen. Any business, if they're missing a third of their phone calls, are missing out on, that's a lot of money, okay? If my company was missing a third of phone calls, we'd be out of business. Can't happen, okay? The problem is, how do you do it? Again, none of your team are burnt out at 5 o'clock. They need to go home. You either got to hire a live assistant somewhere to answer your call or send them to voicemail. Unfortunately, the stats are pretty strong. 80% of people do not leave voicemails anymore. 80%. So send them to voicemail, you're usually not going to have a message, okay? So this was the advanced voice mode that I was going to show you when I knew where my phone was at. Oh, it's black, it's right there. Holy cow, it's sitting on the table. Duh. All right, who here has used advanced voice mode? No? Oh, you have, yeah. One? Anybody else? Anybody here speak another language? Yes. What language do you speak? Oh, come up here, come up here. This will be great. No, come, please. Just, if you can speak the language, come up here. This is gonna be fun. Okay, check this out. What's your name?
Mira.
Mira, okay. So we're gonna talk to, this is the ChatGPT advanced voice mode. So I'm gonna show you this because this is basically the same thing as turning on an agent for your practice, okay? What language do you speak again?
Gujarati.
Gujarati. Is that Hindu? Hindi?
Not Hindi, but it's
Kind of like that? Okay. What was it again?
Gujarati.
Gujarati. I'm gonna have a hard time saying. Okay. All right, check this out. Hey, you there?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I've got a friend here, Mira, and she speaks Gujarati, and obviously I speak English. And I'd like you to translate English, when I speak English, into Gujarati for her, and then when she speaks Gujarati, I want you to translate it back to English. Can you do that?
Sure, I can help with that. Just let me know what you need translated.
All right, will you tell Mira that I really like her beige jacket?
હા, હું મીરાને કહું છું કે તમને તેનો બેજ કલરનો જેકેટ ખૂબ ગમે છે.
Thank you.
No, you're supposed to speak Gujarati. Hold on. She's now going to speak Gujarati. Hold on.
Got it, I'm ready.
મને તમારા ચંપલ ગમે છે.
She said she likes your shirt.
Oh, my shirt.
Oh, I was
Like my shoes. Oh, I was going to say my shirt's pretty lame. Okay, anyway, that's good. Thank you. Everybody give her a round of applause there. Okay, so in the same way, you know what? It's crazy. It's actually got it written. Check this out. It wrote it in Gujarati. Can you?
That's why I asked her to go.
That's wild. It has the whole transcript right there, and it's got, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Anyway, so anybody that needs translation in their office, you don't have to call somebody to freaking drive over and translate for you. Just pull that out and translates for you. Oh, no, I thought you were joking. No, I don't know. That's a really good question. I'm sure there's going to be an app for it, though. I'm sure somebody will build it. Yeah. Sorry, John. He asked, can it do sign language? Can it create image video to do sign? Like you speak it, and then it would create the sign language. Yeah. You know what? That's a really good question. I'll bet somebody's building it or it's built. I would imagine, because that's a huge opportunity, right? Somebody got an idea for a business, there you go. So, same way, same idea, okay? That's ChatGPT tied to a voice. You're basically taking ChatGPT, you're training it on your office, and you're plugging a voice in, okay? So these are some actual recordings, okay? Patients with Annie that I grabbed, and I kind of cleaned up the audio a little bit so you can hear it better, so it doesn't have a lot of phone fuzziness and stuff, but check these out.
Hello, my name is Annie. I'm Smile Prestige's AI assistant. How can I help you?
Hey, I have an implant that I need to get, and I just wanted to see how much that was going to cost.
We'd be happy to help with that. What was your name?
Rinda.
Thanks, Rinda. Have you visited our practice before, or would this be your first time?
First time.
Well, it is nice to meet you, Rinda. Just in case we get disconnected, what was your phone number?
So I redacted all the PHI stuff.
Thanks, Rinda. To answer your question, the price of an implant can vary depending on what exact treatment our doctor recommends. Would you like to schedule a consultation and we can give you a detailed breakdown of your estimated cost after we've assessed your needs?
I have Cigna. Do you know how much they'll cover?
Many insurance plans, including Cigna, will cover at least a portion of implant-related costs, though the exact coverage can vary depending on your plan's details. We'd be happy to give you a detailed breakdown of your coverage and costs before your appointment. Would you like me to look for some open times for a consultation?
Are you able to give me a ballpark estimate?
While it's hard to give a ballpark estimate without first assessing your needs, we'd be happy to give you a full breakdown of your exact coverage after your consultation. If those costs are higher than you can afford, we'd be happy to tell you about our flexible payment options as well. We offer Care Credit and Cherry, which provide affordable ways to split up your payments if the recommended treatment falls outside of your budget. Would you like me to look at some open times?
Yes.
Okay, who does front office training here? Okay, in the back, right? Okay, so trying to get your new employee to just do that, is it difficult? Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, right? Especially consistently. So notice the AI dodged the question twice. It actually dodged it 3 times. It didn't answer the question, third time she pressed, it said, we have flexible payment options, it mentioned Cherry and Care Credit, and she finally gave in and said she'd scheduled an appointment. And further on in the call, she actually scheduled the appointment. Okay, I just cut it off there, okay? Pretty effective, right? Here's another one.
Hello, my name is Annie. I'm Bright Smile's AI assistant. How can I help you?
I have a patient at Southside Dental, but I have a 7-year-old that needs 4 fillings. They referred me to you for the procedure.
I'd be happy to help with that. May I ask for your name first?
Megan.
Thank you, Megan. Since you were referred to us, could you share a bit more about the referral for your son? Are there any specific concerns or needs we should be aware of?
My current dental office only offers shots around mouth numbing, which my son doesn't prefer. It's like you might have different options to soothe them.
You've called the right place. Our board-certified pediatric dentists are experienced in working with children who may have anxiety or prefer alternatives to traditional numbing methods. We offer options like laughing gas, which is a gentle and effective way to help make the procedure more comfortable for your son. Would you like me to look for some open times to get him in?
Yes.
And then I got one more here. This is an emergency appointment.
Hello, welcome to Sandy Dental Arts. My name is Annie, and I'm the practice's AI assistant. How can I assist you today?
I need to give an appointment as soon as possible.
I can help with that. May I have your name, please?
Meredith.
Thank you, Meredith. Just in case we get disconnected, what was your number? Thank you, Meredith. Have you visited our office before?
Yes.
Great. Can you tell me more about why you needed to get in as soon as possible?
I have either a broken crown or a large filling came out of a previously filled tooth.
I'm sorry to hear that, Meredith. Let me check for our next availability. Our next available appointment is on Friday, December 27th at 5:30 in the afternoon. Would that work for you, or would you like me to look for another time?
Yes, it will.
Great. I will book your appointment for Friday, December 27th at 5:30 in the afternoon. Just a moment while I get that scheduled.
All right, let me skip through. So these are actually some case studies to give you an idea about the effect of turning on a phone agent. Any questions about any of that? Okay. So this is an actual practice that uses Annie. They're in Utah, where I'm from. They do sleep apnea specialty practice. So over 2 months of usage, they picked up 122 total phone. I think they have both phone and web chat. I think they had maybe 20 chats, so about 100 phone calls. 122 total conversations, 66 conversations continued. What that means is that these 122, a little over half of them went the whole entire conversation. That means the person didn't hang up, you know, the agent was able to like handle the entire conversation. 32 of those 66, so about a fourth of the total calls, they resolved the concern. Whatever the patient was asking about, they were able to handle it. Didn't require the team to like follow up or anything, okay? There's 28 total leads. That means there were 28 of those were new people, patients that were put into we grabbed the name, email, phone, and added them to a lead database, basically. They weren't new patients, they were just new people that were interested, and we had their contact information. Scheduled 12 appointments, and they generated almost $8,000 from that. Here's another one. This is a huge practice. They've got 6 locations, or not 6 locations. They have 6 doctors, 1 month of usage, almost 1,200 phone calls, 358 were appointment opportunity calls. So that means that the agent analyzed the conversation, and there was some part of the conversation that was about scheduling an appointment, okay? 120 emergency patient calls, 44 appointments confirmed, 152 scheduled appointments, and almost $60,000 in revenue. The way that this number comes out is what the company that built Annie, I should say, has done, is they connect the scheduling that the agent does to the patient management system, and then they query whether the patient shows up, and then the treatment value of that patient is then fed back to a revenue number. So it actually shows you how much money the agent's generating. Another one, single practice, 1 month of usage, $5,000 in revenue, okay? Anyway, if you're interested, they'll call you. If you want to like set up a phone agent or test one or have them like build a web chat or what for you, you're welcome to do that. Any questions about that? So that's basically automation, okay? We're basically talking about taking AI, this new technology, natural language processing, training it through a software program, connecting it with a patient management system. Now it can actually do a task, right? Now I want you to imagine for a second, what are some of the other things that can be automated? You have a question, John?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can Annie call out to confirm appointments or only receive phone calls like you've shown?
That's a good question. I know that they soft launched that at the beginning of April, and they have maybe a dozen or 2 dozen practices that are on the outbound dialing thing, and I think they're going to officially launch it in May. So the answer would be yes, it's just been developed. So the difference between inbound and outbound is a big deal, you know, because if you can dial out, if you can have an agent dial out, there's all sorts of stuff you can do. You can call patients and, you know, appointment reminders, right? You can do that. You can call, you can do recare. You can query the patient management system, look for anybody who hasn't scheduled their cleaning in 6 months, and have the agent call them and schedule. You could have the agent call out at the end of the year on flex benefits and remind patients of their flex benefit. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff you could do, right?
I wonder, do you start to creep into some gray area about, you know, giving out phone numbers to a program assist, you know, in terms of making that outbound call? Do you start to creep into a...
Yeah, John, why are you asking me the tough question, dude? Yeah, I'm sure there's a big problem with that, but I don't know how to answer it. But you're talking about HIPAA compliance stuff, right? Is what you're talking about? Yeah.
Real quick, sorry.
Yeah.
Person asked this, another follow-up. How about calling to an insurance company to verify benefits?
That's a good one, right? Who here has an employee that just does that all day long? Yeah, okay. I know that Annie doesn't do it, not yet. And I don't know if it's on the roadmap, they might be, but there's a company called Stratus. Does anybody here use Stratus? I have a video. Well, I'm not gonna play it. Stratus AI. If you search Stratus, S-T-R-A-T-U-S, Stratus, they have a great AI insurance verification product. I think they're probably the leading product out there. Pearl also does it. Does anybody here use Pearl? The X-ray or Overjet? Nobody, okay. Pearl, I know Pearl has it. I know Stratus has it. And I think Overjet has it. I think. I don't know anybody at Overjet. I prefer Pearl because I know Mike Buckner, who's a good friend of mine. John, you know Mike, right? Yeah. So, does that answer the question for your viewer? I would check out Stratus or Pearl. And now I forgot what I was talking about when you jumped in. Anyway, just thinking about all the other different types of integrations that we can do, okay? We're talking about, Dentistry and Bola, being able to take your conversations, upload those into the patient management system, web chat, phone assistance, like I've shown you with Annie here, insurance verification, Pearl. I didn't really spend much time on diagnostics, but Pearl and Overjet scan X-ray images and then give you a second opinion, if you've ever seen those. All this stuff is just coming online, and it's just the beginning of AI being integrated into dental practice. Any questions on any of that? Okay. This is an ebook I just got done writing that you're welcome to download. It's free. That just talks about new patient power of acquisition. I do mention Annie in the ebook a little bit and some stats and so forth. But it might be interesting to read through that if you want some more information. And then I threw this in. This is a loop. This is a curveball for this. But I like to land on this because talking about technology and all this AI stuff is a little, I don't know, dehumanizing, kind of freaky. So, did you guys hear about this a few months ago? Raise your hand if you heard about this. So there was a church in Swiss, I think it was a Catholic church. The Swiss, are they Church of England? No, they're Catholic. All right, it's a Catholic church. This is an art installation. Okay, they basically took the Old and New Testament and all the writings of Christian writings. They ingested it into an AI and gave it a personality and put a little, like an iPad, in the confessional box. So you could go into the confessional and you could talk to an AI Jesus. That's freaky, okay? When I heard about this, I immediately went to my father, who made me go to church for so long, and I didn't want to go. And I told him, Dad, I don't have to go to church. Jesus is a robot. And so we got into an argument. But anyway, so they installed this as an art installation. They weren't actually trying to provide religious advice. It was really just an investigation of how humans interact with artificial intelligence. And if you put, an icon like Jesus or your belief in whatever Jesus might be, inside of a confessional box where you're going to vomit out all the horrible things that you've done, right, to an AI and try and get some advice back, what's that experience like? Well, a majority, well over 50% of the people said they had a spiritual experience. Kind of like with Eliza, where they were just chatting. Super weird, okay?
One new art exhibit is making headlines across the globe after a church put an artificial intelligence version of Jesus Christ in a confessional. The installation, titled Deus in Machina, is on exhibit at St. Peter's Chapel in Lucerne, Switzerland. People can interact with a hologram version of Jesus and receive spiritual advice and encouragement. And joining us now to talk more about this is Christoph Wimmer, the EWTN News editor for Europe and Asia. Christoph, always good to be with you, my friend. This story is really making a lot of headlines across the world. Many reporting that AI Jesus is hearing confessions, but the technology is not actually involved in the sacrament of penance, is it?
That's right, Tracy. Great to be here, just even to clarify that, right? So that AI Jesus project, it's in St. Peter's Church in Lucerne in Switzerland, is not administering the sacrament of reconciliation in any way. It's an art installation. It's part of an exhibit designed to provoke thought, discussion about the role of technology in our lives, including, of course, the spiritual life. But it's not the sacrament, which is deeply human. It's sacramental. We need a priest acting in the person of Christ and no machine. No matter how sophisticated or cool can take on that role, even in a confessional, which is probably where that confusion came from.
You know, what's been the response among people who've maybe been to the art exhibit? What have they been saying?
The reactions, as you know, I'm sure everyone expects, have been really mixed. Some people get pretty excited about it or think it's thought-provoking or spiritually affirming even, because a machine can deliver advice rooted in scripture. One visitor reportedly said, you know, it's a machine, but it gives me so much advice. I guess that says a lot about how open people are to these new experiences. But on the other hand, I mean, there are many criticisms. Many think that AI responses lack depth, lack compassion, lack nuance of human pastoral care. Frankly, a lot of people, including myself, have dismissed it as a bit of a gimmick. You know, they're saying, yeah, it's an interesting experiment maybe, but it lacks richness of human interaction and, above all, sacramental grace.
Yeah, definitely. It certainly got a lot of people talking, although that being said, have there been any concerns, you know, about this exhibit, potential problems that could arise?
You know, it's easy to dismiss it as a novelty, Tracy, but you hit the nail on the head with that one. It is, of course, a legitimate concern and something we can't just brush aside, that this type of project can blur the lines for people because they might not fully understand the sacramental nature of confession. You know, no machine, no matter how advanced your chatbot might be, can offer absolution. It's not just theology. I mean, we're talking sacramental reality of our faith. And then there's the ethical side of it. Can an AI really handle the complexities of theological concepts? And what happens when you open up your heart? It's not cor ad cor, it's cor ad machina that we're talking about here. Does that really address the depth of our experience, our spiritual struggle? And is there really empathy in play, or can you be fooled? Not to mention the broader risk, of course, for a society that starts talking to chatbots in that way. I've been down that rabbit hole, even just researching for stories we're doing, Tracy, on maybe Thomas Aquinas, and you end up talking about spiritual things that are deeply personal to a machine. So it is risky, and I'm a bit concerned about it, as much as I enjoy the novelty nature of it. And maybe the headlines are good, and that allegedly is what the artist also wants, a conversation about what machines are bringing. And for the church, for us Catholics, it's really something to navigate.
Absolutely, Christoph. Thank you. So,
the reason I show that, oh, John, if you ask your question now, I am not going to remember what I'm about to say. I will come back to you. The reason I share that, it's totally outside of the scope of what we've been talking about, but I think it's important. What's happening here is kind of an Eliza effect, right? Somebody goes into a putting an AI Jesus inside of a confessional is provocative, and it might even be, you know, it might even rub a lot of people wrong, right? And so that's, you know, it is kind of a gimmick a little bit. But I want you to think about, as these softwares get better and better and better, we have to be aware that people will want and will be inclined to build relationships with them, because the data is already showing that that's how humans start interacting with machines. And that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. You know, there are apps out there. I'll mention this. This is a little bit creepy, but I think it's along the lines of what we're talking about. But there are quite a few apps that will draw you in, and this is not because I got sucked into it. I just saw this and went, whoa. But there are apps where you can text an AI girl or boy, right? And they'll have a conversation with you. And then there's a link to purchase something, and you actually get an AI girlfriend who will talk with you, or a boy that will talk with you, right? And the AI image is freakishly human, like you can't tell it's not human. And there's also apps where you can put a girl's face that you like on that person in the app. Okay, this gets kind of scary, okay? Kind of freaky scary. So that kind of stuff is already developed. It's already out there. And when I think about my kids who can't make a damn phone call, right, or talk to a girl because he's scared, that we're isolating ourselves. And so I just bring this up. I mention that because I think it's important for us to know that we are in an industry, or you're in an industry, where you get the opportunity to work with people who need to communicate, and they need to be heard. They need to have human interaction. And you have that opportunity to do it. And so everything I've talked about here is not to replace that. It's to try and remove. My goal is to provide an opportunity or products or services that will enhance the ability for your teams to have those authentic conversations rather than data entry. That's the goal here, okay? Because it is a slippery slope. There's a side of this whole AI conversation that's freaking scary. It's kind of terrifying, you know? So I just mentioned that. I encourage you to take the opportunity to, you know, everybody, you know, the older I get, the longer I'm on this planet, the more I realize that everybody's going through a freaking shit show, like all the time. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's dealing with a death. Everybody's dealing with depression at some level. And we have an opportunity to welcome those people into our lives, help them feel more human, and help each other. And you guys just have an opportunity because you're seeing people all the time. You're seeing people all the time. So I encourage you to do that, and I'll end there. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'd love to come back. Oh, wait, John, you had a question. Whew. Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, it was just letting you know you had 5 minutes. You're spot on. You're spot on.
I killed it.
We got 1 or 2 minutes now, so you're crushing it.
All right,
I will tell you real quick.
Yeah.
WeCapable.com does English text to sign language.
There you go. Thank you, John,
That's
for looking that up. WeCapable.
WeCapable.com.
Okay. If anybody has any questions they want to ask me direct, come on up. If you want a song, I will make you either a rap song, a reggae song, or a country song. Just come let me know. Thanks, guys.
Hey, sorry, real quick. Rory has a drawing.
Oh. Yeah, Roy's got a raffle.
You want to pull a ticket out of here and read it, and you guys match it up, and there's a thing for gifts here.
You want me to pull it?
Yeah, go for it. You got the mic, so we can hear you. Everybody got their tickets?
Okay. You ready? You get your tickets out? Okay, 001 77 5. 1775. Nobody? Do you want me to pull it again? Gotta be present to win?
I don't know. Alana just assigned this to me, so I don't know.
Okay. 001 76 5. All right, winner, chicken dinner.
You got a winner? All right.
What do you win?